Hello, Shelton, Washington. I am Raul Alegre. I was an exchange student there in the 1977-1978 school year. I grew up in Mexico and my favorite sport was soccer. But when I came to Shelton, they did not have a soccer program. The only two options that I had to play sports were cross country and football. I didn't really like cross country running, and I didn't think that at 5'10", 154 pounds, and never even having seen a football game in my life, I had much of a chance to play football. But I went to one of the practices and I saw a lineman by the name of Glenn Jacobson struggling to make extra points. So I thought that maybe that could be something that I could do for the team. After practice, I went to Coach Jack Stark and I asked him if he would be okay for me to try out to be a field goal kicker. And he told me to come back the next day. That evening, I went to my host family, the Samadero family, and I told them that I was going to try out for the football team. And they looked at me like I was crazy, but they felt a little bit better when I told them that I was trying out to be a kicker. After dinner, we went outside. They had a football, so for the first time ever, I kicked trying to get ready for the tryout. The next day I showed up. I didn't even have cleats. I didn't have soccer shoes. So the school let me borrow some football cleats. And they asked Jim Tobin, our backup quarterbacks, to come with me and to hold for me. So we went to the extra point line and kept backing up every 5 yards until we got to about the 35 yard line for a 45-yard field goal. I made two kicks without much problem, and I realized that the whole team stopped whatever they were doing, and they came and watched me. So Jim asked me to back out to the 40-yard line to try a 50-yard field goal. I made two without much problem. So he asked me if I wanted to try a 55-yard field goal. So I said, sure, why not? The exercise seemed fairly easy to me. I made the 55-yard field goal with yards to spare, and the whole team went wild. Coach Starr told me that I could definitely be the field goal kicker for the team. And then somebody told me that I had done something that was very difficult to do, that even the pros had a hard time accomplishing, and that was to kick a 55-yard or longer field goal. And that played a very important part in my life, and I will explain it later on in this video. The team didn't try very many extra points. I only attempted nine, made all of them. Three field goals, made two. And I really didn't kick much until after the weather cleared out in late April. So I went out and started kicking on my own. At that time, I was able to make field goals from 65 yards out. And Coach Stark decided to make video. So he made the video and he sent it to several coaches that were his friends, and I got a scholarship to play football for the University of Montana, where I was for 2 years. After 2 years, I transferred because the University of Montana did not have a school of engineering. I've always wanted to be a civil engineer. So I transferred to the University of Texas. I had to sit out a year, played 2 years on two very good football teams. In 1981, we were number two in the nation. My career was okay, not statistically not very good, but I made the clutch field goals at the end, and that earned me a tryout with the Dallas Cowboys, who, as you know, were America's team, still are, perhaps not as good as before. And I had a good camp. They traded me to the Baltimore Colts. I was able to play for the Colts, made 30 or 35-yard field goals. I was named All-Pro in some publications. And then the team moved to Indianapolis, where I played 2 more years. Then in 1986, during training camp, I was cut by the Colts. And I thought that could have been the end of my football career. But I was signed by the New York Giants. And that year, we went on to win the Super Bowl that earned me this Super Bowl ring. I played 5 more years with the Giants. In 1990, we went back to the Super Bowl. Unfortunately for me, I played the first part of the year, but then I was injured. But I stayed on the team, and the team won the Super Bowl after the 1990 season, Super Bowl 25, and they gave me this nice ring, so I have two rings now. Shortly after that, I retired. I decided to get an MBA. During the course of the MBA program, I had the opportunity to do a football show in Spanish for NFL Films, which opened the door to what I do now, which is football broadcasting. I work now for ESPN, for ESPN Deportes, ESPN International. I'm a football analyst, and the reason why I'm here right now is because this year, the 2015 season marked the 50th anniversary of the Super Bowl, the golden anniversary, and the NFL decided to award golden footballs, commemorative footballs, to the high schools whose players had played in the Super Bowl, and I, with a lot of pride, designated Shelton, Washington. I hope that you get three things from this presentation. Number one is that you never know when the opportunity that is going to change your life is going to present itself. And I hope that when it does, you're ready for it. Number two, don't let anybody put negative thoughts in your head. When that person told me that a field goal was very difficult to do from 50 yards out or farther, I could never make another field goal during that season. So a negative thought has something to do with the way you do in life. And finally, when something bad happens, like getting cut from the Colts, is really perhaps the beginning of something that is going to become better. So I wish very much that I could have been there. I live in Texas. It's very difficult to get to the state of Washington, but I am very proud to be a high climber, and I'm very proud to award this football to Shelton High School. Thank you.